Stay a while. This is the Prosperity Lounge where growth gets personal.
Welcome back. This is where hope meets freedom and growth gets personal. I'm Joey Ruffalo, your host, financial coach, best-selling author, and business growth strategist. Whether you're tuning in live on Praise 96.3 FM or catching the replay on Spotify, Apple, or YouTube, I'm just glad you pulled up a chair. If you're new here, let me say this. You're not just listening to a talk show, you're stepping into a movement, a growing community of people reclaiming their peace, their power, and their purpose through practical strategies around money, mindset, business, and wellness. And this right here, this episode, man, this is a big one because you just punched out and it's Paycheck Friday. That's right. This is our very first Friday night show. Same mission, new day and time. And what's better? Man, what's a better way to celebrate than to recap the incredible journey we've been on so far together for the first 5 weeks here. So previously, Saturday mornings, 9:30 to 10, you heard the Prosperity Lounge. Made it successful. Made it the self-proclaimed #1 East Tennessee-based Saturday morning show for personal finance, business, and wellness. And I'm hoping to do the same thing here on Friday nights. So thank you very much. Tonight's episode is all about reflecting, recharging, and relaunching. I'm going to take you through some of the best insights and biggest takeaways from our first 5 episodes. Everything from crushing debt to building a better budget, to starting your first side hustle and having those real money conversations. Now, if you missed any of the episodes, don't worry. They're all available as podcasts and videos at the Prosperity Lounge on all your favorite platforms. And even better, the conversation continues all week long inside our free online community at theprosperitylounge.com. That's where you can find all the tools, downloads, and support and help you apply what we talk about each week, including our free 8-step action guide on how to stop living paycheck to paycheck and our exclusive Prosperity Planner budgeting tool. Now, if you want to connect, call in the show, give us a call, 865-577-4885. That's 865-577-4885. And if you're shy and you don't want to be on the radio, you can always text in at 865-236-1791. That's 865-236-1791. That's our Prosperity Lounge text line. So give us a question on that as well. And for those watching, you can always watch the show. Like I said earlier, you can watch it on our YouTube channel at the Prosperity Lounge YouTube channel. Join in the live stream, have fun, meet other people, and just have a blast. Okay, let's get to it. Let's recap where it all began. Episode 1. Episode 1 was the real and raw episode. It's the introduction. It's what made me want to do this. What made me want to help people talk about it. I opened up about my own financial journey. Okay, let me tell you, that wasn't pretty. We were $370,000 in debt. Yeah, that's not a typo. That's not exaggeration. That was our real life mountain. There were nights I couldn't sleep. The phone calls, the fear, the shame, the feeling that no matter how hard we worked, we couldn't get ahead. And for a while, man, I thought we were the problem. But the truth was, we weren't the problem. The system we were using was. And that's the heart of the Prosperity Lounge. It's not about shaming people for where they are. It's about showing them that there's a path forward, that there's hope, that with the right plan and the right mindset, you can take back control. And the first tool on that journey, it was the budget. But not the kind of budget you're probably thinking of, that old school, cut everything, spreadsheet, prison version. Man, we talked about budgets as freedom plans. Because if you're just tracking expenses and still feeling stuck, man, you're missing the point. And that led into episode 2. In episode 2, we talked about why why most budgets fail. Spoiler alert, it's not because you're lazy or bad with money. It's because most budget systems are built around restriction, not values. And when you build something that doesn't reflect your life or your priorities, it's going to fall apart. We broke down the difference between zero-based budgeting, where every dollar has a job, and values-based budgeting, which prioritizes joy, giving, fun, and your real-life goals. The key is that your budget shouldn't make you feel guilty. It should give you clarity. And more importantly, permission. One of the lines that really landed with people was this: a budget isn't a prison. It's a blueprint. It's your permission to spend, not your pressure to save. But more importantly, the budget is the foundation upon which your financial house is built. That shift in mindset changes everything. It's not about cutting things out forever. It's about temporary sacrifices for long-term freedom. And of course, we introduced a tool that makes that all easier, the Prosperity Planner. It's our flexible, easy-to-use budget tool that's built for real people in mind. No fluff, no shame, just clarity. And right now, it's free for 30 days at theprosperitylounge.com. So whether you're building from rock bottom or just trying to get your spending under control, those first 2 episodes laid the foundation. Debt doesn't define you. And budgeting doesn't have to punish you. With the right plan and a little bit of courage, you could turn your finances into a source of peace instead of stress. So whether you're building from rock bottom or just trying to get your spending under control, those first 2 episodes laid the foundation. So after laying the foundation with debt and budgeting in episodes 1 and 2, we shifted focus in episode 3 to something that became non-negotiable in today's world. I mean, it's important, and it should be on everybody's radar, and that's income growth. And that's just not any growth or any kind of income. It's aligned income. We talk about the rise of side hustles, or as I like to call them, gold jobs, because this isn't about hustle culture or burnout. It's about creating margin, breathing room, and opportunity without having to quit your day job or build the next Amazon. My first side hustle was selling on eBay. And we were buried in debt, desperate for a lifeline, and I started flipping things around the house. That one small action, listing a football jersey online all those years ago, led to thousands of dollars in income, and eventually inspired my first book, An eBay Seller's Guide to Financial Planning, and that's available online on Amazon. But here's the twist. The best side hustle lives at the intersection of 3 things: what you're good at, what you enjoy, and more importantly, what people will pay for. That's your sweet spot. That's where passion meets profit. We shared examples from our community, from moms doing decluttering services to retirees selling baked goods, to people offering photography lessons. And we walked through how to launch your first side hustle with zero fluff. Basically, You got to ask these 4 questions. Who do you help? What do you want to do for them? How do they pay you? And how will they find out about you? Let's put that out there again in case people missed it. Who do you help? What do you do for them? How do they pay you? And how will they find out about you? It doesn't have to be fancy. For real. If you're still stuck, go help 3 people for free. Get testimonials. Start there. Let's break down something that's actually happening right now that affects your wallet. Whether you're working a 9 to 5, you're running a business, you're working a side hustle, you got some debt coming in, you're trying to work on that aligned income, you're trying to get some growth. There's some key things in the news recently that's going to have a profound effect on what's going on. And that is, first, minimum wage increases. What does that mean for everyone? Talk about several states recently had just raised the minimum wage. Oregon is now at $15.95 an hour in the Portland area. Nevada hit $12. DC's at $17. Florida's moving to $13 by September. For small business owners, this is a cost increase. If you rely on contractors or hourly help, this is something you have to look at of whether or not you can afford your workforce. Whether you're going to have to make changes like raise prices, cut inventory, cut workforce to make ends meet. That's something you have to consider. For workers, $1 an hour raise, that's $173 more a month before taxes, roughly. That's about $2,000 a year. That's not nothing. What can you do with that? I want to challenge you to not absorb it all into lifestyle creep. What that means is you got some extra money in your pocket, you spend more. I'm going to challenge you to not do that. I'm going to challenge you to split it into 3 categories. The first category, you're going to take 50% of that and you're going to throw it at your debt. At a minimum 50% to your debt. Next, take 30% of that and throw it into savings. And then the final 20%, have fun. Guilt-free spending. Or you can focus 100% on one goal. An emergency fund, a car repair, a student loan buffer. I want you to remember that raises are opportunities, not just upgrades. If you track your spending for 90 days, you'll actually see if that extra money made a difference. Or did it just disappear? Another thing to look at is that summer's here. Summer is here. What does that mean? Well, summer travel's here as well. You're going to be probably driving more day trips, more road trips, spending more time on the road with family, spending a little bit more money. But also understanding that gas prices are going up. Usually happens, right? National average is around $3.50 right now. Here in Tennessee, the average is $3.09, but quite honestly, I'm paying way less than that. So sorry to everybody else around the country. I think I guessed up at $2.47 the other day. So yes. But we're full. Don't come here. Anyway, and then states like California, it's way up over $5 again. It's actually pretty funny to mention that. So today is 3 years ago today, my wife and I packed up our car and drove out of California for the last time to move to Tennessee. When I gassed up, I took a picture of the gas tank. It was $6.47 a gallon. And as soon as I crossed the border into Arizona, at the end of the day, I think it was like 4 or something. And then as we get further east, it get lower and lower and lower. But yeah, $6.40. That's what it was 3 years ago, and it's still up over 5. Absolutely crazy. So that's going to be, if you're side hustling, you're making delivery runs, and this isn't just an expense, it's lost profit. So treat gas like its own budget line. Track weekly. Explore rewards programs. Fuel efficient batching. What I mean by that is you may not be able to take those longer routes anymore like you used to. You may have to take some closer routes, and that might mean more routes, more deliveries in a shorter amount of time, but locally rather than take the longer one that might be more expensive because of the gas problem. So you have to be careful with that. Now in episode 4, we pivoted to something even more personal. And obviously something that most shows don't really talk about. I'm not just bragging or patting myself on the back here, but money and relationships. Because let's face it, man, money isn't just math. It's emotion. And when two people come together with different backgrounds, different beliefs, different baggage, things can get messy. We talked about one of my favorite analogies. It's not you versus them. It's both of you versus the problem. That shift in perspective is everything. It's not about blame. It's about alignment. Are you rowing in the same direction or spinning in circles? We explored practical tips like scheduling monthly money dates, using tools like the Prosperity Planner for budgeting, and having values-based conversations, not just numbers-based arguments. The biggest takeaway: clarity brings peace. And peace in your relationship often starts with transparency in your finances. I also shared how I work with couples who think they're bad at budgeting. But in reality, they're just budgeting in isolation. One spouse has the numbers in their head, and the other's in the dark. And both are frustrated. It's not a money issue. That's a communication issue. And this is the part that really hit home with a lot of you. I got a lot of feedback on this one. It's talking about being more is caught than taught. Let your kids see you budgeting. Let them see you hustle. Involve them in saving for a trip. You're not just changing your budget, you're changing your family tree. So episodes 3 and 4 were really about creating margin and building unity. Two of the most important and overlooked areas of financial health. I'm going to share a story real quick here about peace in relationship and transparency in finances, and it goes back to our story where I was keeping all the numbers in my head. And I like to say my wife didn't really know what was going on, but she knew what was going on. She just didn't let me know that she knew what was going on. She waited to see how long it was going to take for me to say something to her. I never did. I used the old, hey, honey, I listened to this radio show on the way home today, and he said some good stuff. You should listen to him. Didn't think she'd listen to him. And she did. It was Dave Ramsey's show, and she listened to him. And I came home the next day, completely forgot I told her about it. And she was sitting on the couch with all his books and told me she signed us up for the class, his financial peace class. And that's when I knew that she knew all along. She was just waiting for me to tell her that we had a problem. Or that I say we because we're married, but I had a problem. My problem of keeping up with the Joneses and trying to impress people I didn't really know. So that communication, once that was off my chest, it made the other parts easier to deal with. Now, we still had struggles. Even after this time, we still had our lights turned off, our water turned off, or notice on our door to get out. Cars are getting repoed. We're almost bankrupt. This all happened after this, but we had a plan now. We had communication. We had a team rowing in the same direction, and that was important. So we covered how to make more, communicate better, but after the break, we're tackling the biggest financial burden most people carry, and that's debt. And more importantly, how to finally get free from it. Stay with us. We'll be right back. This is the Prosperity Lounge. You're listening to the Prosperity Lounge, and we're back with the episode that stirred up the most feedback: debt payoff strategies that actually work. And if you're just joining us, we're recapping the most powerful moments from our first 5 episodes to celebrate our new time slot here on Friday nights from 6 to 7. You can call us at 865-577-4885. That's 865-577-4885. Or you can text in at 865-236-1791. That's 865-236-1791. Put that on your phone. Save it as the Prosperity text line. Send me a text during the show. Hey, send me a text whenever. Got any questions you want me to ask her? I'll answer them on the air. And if you're hanging out with us on YouTube, at the Prosperity Lounge YouTube channel during the live stream, get to see behind the scenes what's going on. Pretty lively chat so far, and thank you all for joining me there. All right. So we already talked about building a rock solid foundation through budgeting and side income, plus how to improve the way you and your partner communicate around money. But now it's time to talk about that topic that hits hardest for most people, actually for a lot of people. And honestly, the one I get the most questions, the most DMs, the most emails about, and that's debt. It's personal. It's emotional. It's absolutely conquerable with a plan. In episode 5, we went deep on how to actually pay off debt. Not just talk about it, but build a real, workable strategy that fits your life. And we started by calling debt what it really is: a financial quicksand. You might be making ends meet, even putting a little bit in the savings. But if high interest debt's lurking in the background, it's quietly sabotaging your future. I said it then, I'll say it again now. You can't build a house on a swamp. And debt's the financial quicksand. And remember the saying from earlier, my go-to saying on the budget, that the budget is the foundation upon which your financial house is built. You need a strong foundation. You need a strong foundation when building a house. You need a strong foundation when building your financial future. And if you're building your financial future on top of quicksand, it's going to topple. It's not going to work. That's why every dollar you use to pay down debt is a guaranteed return. No stock market guesswork, no crypto roller coaster, just straight up freedom. We went ahead and broke down 4 core methods for debt payoff. And I help some listeners figure out which one might be right for them. I'll break those down again for you guys. You can go back and listen to the full episode. It was episode 5. We talk about this. But the first one was the debt snowball method. Now, that snowball method says focus on your smallest debt first, regardless of interest rate. It's all about motivation. It's all about quick wins. This is the method I used personally, and it helped me eliminate over $370,000 in debt over time. The feeling of knocking out a bill, even a small one, is powerful. So you pay off your smallest debt, you take everything you can and pay it off, as much money as you can above and beyond the minimum payment, and then you take all of that money and you roll it into debt number 2. So let's say, for example, your minimum payment on your first debt is $100 a month. And you scrimp and you save and you attack it and you're able to send $200 a month and you pay it off. You take that $200 and you send it to debt number 2. If debt number 2 had a minimum payment of $100, now you're sending $300 to debt number 2. And so on, so on, so on. The next one is the avalanche method. The avalanche method focuses on the highest rate first. This saves you more money in the long run, but may take you longer to see some progress. This is what I call a math lover's method. It's not always the best for those who need early motivation. Then we have the hybrid method. The hybrid method starts with a quick win. Then it shifts to the high interest debt. So you get some momentum, you get some confidence, you get some efficiency. It's kind of a both and strategy. It works well with some of my clients, but it really is about your personality. And finally, there's alternative methods like balance transfers, debt consolidations, and stuff like that. That can be helpful if you're disciplined, but they come with too many traps. We talked about them when to use these, when to stay far away, when to stay far, far away. One of the biggest warnings in this episode was minimum payments are not a plan. They're a treadmill. I'm just full of quotes. I should get some t-shirts made with all this on there. Remember, you're moving, but you're not getting anywhere. And eventually you'll get tired and fall off. That's not helpful. You got to do something that's going to build some momentum and keep you motivated to move forward. Why is this important, man? Why is getting on a plan, why is taking care of your debt important? Why is it crucial to get your debt handled and eliminated as fast as you can? The reason I'm asking that question is it comes up with student loans. Student loans began again collecting out of the pandemic pause. And for most people, they were comfortable for the last couple of years not having student loan payments. And now they are smacked upside the head with another bill they have to pay. And they're not prepared for it. Now everybody planned and said, well, I'm just going to put the money aside, and when I have to pay it back, I'll have the money put aside and I'll pay it. And nobody did that. President Biden put in place what's called the SAVE plan. Well, this week the federal court put a pause on part of that SAVE plan, specifically the 10-year forgiveness rule for low balance borrowers. And that's causing a lot of fear among people. 8 million people enrolled in that program. Had about $117 a month in savings, average. And about 360,000 people already got forgiveness. Now, try to stay clear of being political here on the show. It's not my place. But I will say this for both sides of the aisle. Don't build your budget around Washington. Make it work with zero forgiveness. And if it comes later, bonus, yay. That's how we operate from a place of power, not panic. And that goes for everything. It's not just your budget around debt. We have no idea what taxes are going to be. We have no idea what's going on as a nation, but we have to know what's going on in our own house. There's a great And I'll be honest with the audience here. I'm on Praise 96.3 FM, Tennessee's #1 gospel station. And I am weakly averse in Scripture. I know it. I know some of it. I can't really quote too much of it. But one of the things I've heard along the years is take care of your own house first, or you're worse than a non-believer. And that applies to, you can apply it to anything really, but it applies in this situation to your house. Take care of your own house first. Don't worry about what the government's doing. I mean, yeah, you have to worry a little bit because it affects you. I get it. But take care of your own house. Worry about your own budget. Worry about getting yourself out of debt. Come from a place of power. While all eyes were on the Save Plan legal drama, another update that didn't make the headlines but it should have. The Department of Education announced that they're pausing Social Security garnishment for borrowers in default. Whew, that's a big deal, especially for seniors on a fixed income, man. Over 450,000 borrowers over the age of 62 are at the risk of having their benefits docked. That's now paused for a moment. But, and this is a big but, other collection activities have resumed or are about to. Tax refund seizures are active again. The Treasury Offset Program has been reactivated, allowing government to withhold tax refunds from defaulted borrowers. And wage garnishment is expected to resume later this summer. If you've been in default for over 270 days, this can mean up to 15% of your paycheck taken without your consent. Administrative wage garnishments are set to begin later this summer, targeting borrowers who have not made payments for over 270 days. And this measure affects approximately 5.3 million borrowers in default. And here's the kicker. Many of these people don't even know they're in default until the IRS takes their refund or their paycheck gets docked. So what can you do, especially with student loans, right? I want you to log in to studentaid.gov. Check your loan status, check your servicer, and your default status. Explore your options. Things like loan rehabilitation. That's something like 9 payments to get out of default. Something along those lines. Loan consolidation. One new loan, fresh start. Might mean a higher interest rate, might mean lower payments, but get out from where you were. And then income-driven repayment options. These are based on what you earn, not what you owe. There's actually a bill on the table right now called the Ending Administrative Wage Garnishment Act, which would stop all of this, but it's just a proposal for now. And again, don't wait on Washington to protect you. Take action now. Collections don't care about confusion, but you can get ahead of them, and we'll help you do it. And the one big takeaway as I was researching this and getting prepared for tonight's show was that stat of 450,000 borrowers over the age of 62 still have student loan payments. And that's probably either their own student loans, going to school later in life, defaulting, deferring down the road, or the Parent Plus loans that are out there. With 450,000 Americans over the age of 62 have student loan payments that they're still paying for. They went to school, worked their entire life, retired, and are still paying for their school. Make that make sense. All right. I also opened up about what it really feels like to carry that kind of debt. I mean, we were $370,000 in debt. Sleepless nights, the shame, the collection calls. I had collectors call on my relatives and in-laws even at their home and at their place of work. It was absolutely nuts. It affected my health. I was overweight. I was anxious. Completely drained of energy. was having heart issues, anxiety. You said anxious. It was not a good place to be. Because you have to start thinking about more than yourself in those situations. I'm married. I have a wife to take care of. I have a family. How am I presenting myself? How am I showing up every day? And how is that affecting them? And I share this to not make anyone feel sorry for me. That's never do. But I want to say clearly that, how do I put this? You are not your debt. But you're responsible for defeating it. And the great thing about it is you're not alone. You have support. You have a strategy. And more than anything, you have hope. Now, the part of the episode, and I laugh because I got some emails that stirred up a lot of questions, and rightfully so, was should I stop saving for retirement while paying off debt? And you should have seen some of the emails I got. Some were like, bravo, and some were like, you are absolutely nuts. What are you talking about? And I would say my answer to both of that question is, you're both right. But here's how I help you think through it, right? If your credit card debt is over 7%, you have 7% interest, and your investments are earning 6 to 8%, you're actually losing money by saving instead of paying off debt. If your employer offers a 401k match, don't leave free money on the table. Contribute just enough to get the match and then put the rest towards debt. But if you're living paycheck to paycheck, or worse, using credit cards to survive, it may be time to hit the pause temporarily. Now, how long is temporarily? Well, good strategic rule of thumb is about 12 to 24 month pause to crush your debt with intensity. But that pause has to come with purpose. This isn't coasting. This is an attack plan. The moment the debt is gone, you relaunch hard into retirement savings. This is what I call the slingshot effect. You pull back with discipline and then launch forward with power. And we also looked at age and timing. If you're in your 20s or 30s, that pause is safer. You've got decades ahead for compound growth. If you're in your 50s or 60s, time's shorter. We did a more nuanced approach. Maybe scale back, not stop, or redirect some side hustle income to debt while keeping your retirement contributions going. So episode 5 brought it all together: budgeting, momentum, strategy, long-term vision. Because the truth is, you don't need a perfect plan. You just need a plan you'll actually follow. And I left you with one of the most important lines from that episode is, debt thrives in isolation, but freedom grows in community. When we come back, we'll jump into something a little more personal and just as powerful when it comes to your finances and your business, your brand. This is the Prosperity Lounge. Welcome back to the Prosperity Lounge, where hope meets freedom and growth gets personal. I'm your host, Joey Ruffalo. So let's shift gears for a minute here from current events to something a little more personal and just as powerful when it comes to your finances and your business, and that is your brand. What are people saying about you when you're not in the room? Whether you're applying for a job, building a side hustle, or just trying to get taken seriously, you have a brand. Your name carries weight. It's a vibe, a story. And here's the kicker. If you don't define it, other people will. So let's try this prompt. Let's try this exercise here. It's a 3-word brand drill. Try something very simple. I want you to describe yourself in 3 words. Not your job title, not your resume, but your presence, your purpose, your personality. For example, if I was really sit down and push myself, and my 3 probably changed a lot over time. Right now, it's probably faithful, practical, and relentless. For a teacher friend of mine, we did this exercise. She was patient, empowering, and curious. A local small business owner I coached last month. Resourceful, real, and unstoppable. I want you to drop yours in the chat. Text them in. Let me know what yours are. If you're stuck, ask someone close to you. What 3 words come to mind when they think of you? Why does this matter? Why does your brand even matter? Even if you're not branding. So you don't have a job, or you're not a business owner, you're not selling a product or service. Why does this even matter? What matters because you have a personal brand. And your personal brand is your reputation in action. And right now, more people are hiring, buying, and partnering based on trust and personality over perfection. So are you dependable? Are you consistent online and offline? Do you show up as the same person at work, in your side hustle, and on your socials? This is very important. Something about authenticity. Are you authentic? Are you dependable? Are you loyal? Are you reliable? Those things go far and a long way over perfection. Because you can be perfect at certain things, but when I give you the task, but if I have to sit here and think, are they going to get it done? I mean, yeah, when they get it done, it's going to be great, but are they going to get it done? As opposed to somebody that I know is going to get it done all the time. Now, I will say the difference between, let's say, getting it done all the time, and let's say you're getting it done all the time and it's not perfect, and there's no improvement over the course of time. Well, that's a different story. But if you're improving over time, I'm going to stick with you. We're in this ride for a long time. We're in it for the long haul. And more importantly, is that last one. Do you show up as the same person at work and your side hustle and on your socials? I mean, it's okay to be humorous here, serious there, somewhat serious over here. That's your personality. I get it. But it all stems back to that part of are you authentic? I strive to be as authentic as I can be. If you talk to me in a conversation at a coffee shop, you call me on the phone, you write me an email, you watch a video, you listen to me here on the radio, you're going to get to see me. You're not going to see me doing, silly little dances somewhere and singing stupid songs and then, trying to be serious somewhere else. That's just not me. I mean, I can have fun. I get it. And we all have fun. It's fine. But I'm authentic. So you listen to me wherever you hear me. You see me wherever you see me. You email me. You call me. We have a conversation. You know what you're getting. And I think that's valuable and important in today's world. We used to be like that all the time. With the rise of social media, we try to be other people. We try to be people we're not and escape. And we lose ourselves and we lose who we are. So it's important. Stay true, stay authentic. So what are 3 ways you can start shaping your brand? These are low effort, high impact things. First thing you need to do is look at your bio on your social media. What does it say, and what does it say about you? This should be one sentence that tells people what you do, who you help, and more importantly, why it matters. 2, be consistent with your tone and message. Are you the same you on Instagram, and Facebook, in emails, in real life? If not, people are just going to get confused. And people get confused, they don't buy. They don't pursue. They turn away and go somewhere else. And 3, tell small stories that connect. Instead of always pitching, try sharing a moment. I helped a client today who thought budgeting meant guilt. We fixed that in 15 minutes. Let me show you how. I would even leave off the last part. Don't even show me how, just leave the last part off. So I realized I was just pitching there. See, even I have a problem doing it. Got a coffee shop, highlight a barista. Have them talk about their favorite drink that they make. You own a deli or a diner or a restaurant, highlight a customer. I shouldn't have to go on your page every day and just see pictures of food. I want to know more about you and your brand and who you are. Why should I eat there? I want to care about you and your business. Covered a lot tonight. From building a foundation with budgeting, to earning more, side hustles, real strategies, to paying off debt and planning for retirement. One of my favorite parts of the show is this right here. We get to hear from you. These are real questions from listeners who have been tuning in, watching online, or connecting with us inside the Prosperity Lounge community at theprosperitylounge.com. If you got a question, I want to hear it. You can still text me. You drop it in the live chat on the YouTube live stream. Message me anywhere on Instagram. You can message me. You can email me. Everything's on the Prosperity Lounge website. Our first question comes from Shelby in Atlanta. And Shelby asked, my spouse is a spender. I'm a saver. How can we get on the same financial page without fighting? Well, Shelby, start with some shared goals, not accusations. I want you to have a monthly money date in a neutral, relaxed setting. Use a visual tool like the Prosperity Planner to show and share progress, and focus on what you both value and how money supports those values. Inside the Prosperity Lounge, we have a tool, a guide to talking about money with your spouse. It's a free download. It gives you outlines, it gives you steps, it gives you ways to create a game plan for those conversations. Like one of them is not having the conversation when you're both hungry, emotional, hangry, any of those things, because it'll just get out of hand. It's setting ground rules. That's the most important thing as well. Elijah from Tulsa, Oklahoma texted in and said, I keep trying to start a budget, but give up after a week. How do I stay consistent? Well, I would say, Elijah, don't aim for perfection. Just track one thing consistently, use some simple visual tools, and avoid overwhelming spreadsheets. That's why the Prosperity Planner is great. It's simple, it outlines it, it shows bar graphs. It's simple and easy. Celebrate the small wins. Celebrate them weekly to build motivation. And find an accountability partner through a friend or even the Prosperity Lounge community. Thanks for asking. Melissa from Grand Rapids wrote in and said, what's a side hustle I can do as a stay-at-home parent with just a few hours a day? And this is going to affect a lot of people, because a lot of people only have a few hours a day and they need some extra money. You could try freelancing. Try freelancing in something you're skilled at, like writing or admin work. Maybe you have an English degree you're not using. You can edit some manuscripts or books for people. Maybe do some copywriting. You could sell on eBay or Etsy. That's what we did. Flexible. You could do it during nap time. You can get stuff going, list it up, and sold. And offer services to your network, like virtual assistant, bookkeeping, tutoring. I mean, virtual assistants nowadays are really needed. I use them. They're great. I mean, get stuff done when it needs to get done. So you can do it during nap time. It's perfect. But start with something that you can enjoy and you can do with minimal startup costs. Priya from Phoenix asked, how do I start budgeting if I have irregular income each month? Well, this is a great question, Priya. You want to base your budget on the lowest average income. You want to create two budgets. One is a bare minimum survival budget, and the other is a full goals version. You're going to prioritize fixed and essential expenses first, and then add the rest as income allows. And then you're going to build a buffer fund to help smooth out those lean months. And if you need some help, contact us inside the lounge, and we'll walk you through it. So here's the truth, friends. You don't need to be perfect. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just need a plan. You just need a community and a commitment to keep going, even when it's messy. Whether it's paying off a credit card, starting your first side hustle, or simply having a money conversation that doesn't turn into an argument, you're making progress. You don't have to do it alone. Head over to theprosperitylounge.com. Grab our free 8-step action guide to stop living paycheck to paycheck. Try the Prosperity Planner for free for 30 days. And most importantly, join the community. That's where real change happens. And if tonight's show encouraged you, do me a favor. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. Send them the link. Invite them to the next Friday's live show. Remember, we all rise together. Next week, we're going to talk about emotional spending. I am number one, top of this list. Why we sabotage ourselves and how to build new habits that actually stick. This is going to be a good one. Thanks for joining me on Friday night. It's our first Friday show, our first hour show. I love you all. Catch the replay on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Pandora, YouTube, anywhere the Prosperity Lounge radio show is found. Check us out on YouTube. Join the live conversation. Subscribe to the channel. Helps us out. Share the link. Helps us beat that pesky algorithm. Until next time, everyone, stay faithful, stay fearless, and remember, freedom lives where faith and action meet. The lounge is always open, and so is your next breakthrough. This is the Prosperity Lounge.
Pull up a chair. The journey's